Hello everyone, welcome back to Tech Booth. Today we are unboxing the Panasonic HC-X2000 4K camcorder. Let us see what comes in the box. We have the battery pack, of course, and then you have your AC adapter, which comes, in my case, it came with 3 AC cables, 3 different cables. You get your eye cup. You also get your camera handle. The camera itself is just under a kg in weight. That is about 2 pounds or just under 2 pounds. And lengthwise, it's about the span of my palm right here. So it's not a big camera. For you to properly assemble the handle, what you do is you push down onto the flap that covers the terminals for your audio. You slide the handle forward until the handle unit mounting screw is aligned to the screwing position on the camera itself, and then you just screw down to secure the handle. The unit also comes with a microphone holder and 2 mounting screws that you have to install, and it mounts on the side of the handle just on top of the XLR connectors. The next thing we want to look at is where to put in your battery. The battery slides in the back of the camera. All you need to do is to align the locator terminals for the battery. You slide it in until it clicks into place. And on the left of the battery, you have your battery release lever. And you use this when you are removing the battery from your camera. You just flip it up, while at the same time pushing the battery out of place. On the right hand side of the battery, you have your outputs. You have right at the top your SDI out terminal, followed by a full-size HDMI, and I like these 2 outputs quite a lot, especially the SDI for running long cables. You also have your headphones terminal, and then you have your DC in, or your power connector, which is a 12-volt connector. When the unit is off, you use this to charge your battery. At the top of the camera, you will have your built-in microphone. I hardly ever use this built-in microphone because the sound quality is not that great. It is a stereo microphone, so it has a left and right. The camera has 2 zoom levers, one just above the grip, the big one, and then a smaller one on the camera handle. The camera comes in with a built-in LED light on the front of the handle. The top of the lever is where you can switch your LED light on and off, and you can also adjust the intensity of the LED light. On one side of the camera, you have these 3 terminals. Your mic terminal, this is where you connect an external microphone using a stereo mini jack. You also have a remote terminal where you can control your camera remotely. You finally have your USB terminal that you use to connect a computer with USB 2 cable to transfer data onto your computer for editing. The LCD monitor on this camera is touch sensitive. When you hold your finger on the LCD monitor for at least 2 seconds, it brings up some menu items that you can access. The lens on this camera has an optical image stabilizer, and it is 24 times zoom. Here are some accessories that I think you need to consider buying when you get this unit. One is an external, probably unidirectional microphone, or you can go with a stereo microphone, but some external microphone, because the inbuilt microphones on these cameras are not that great. The second thing you need to consider buying is a battery charger. The setup on this unit is that you are able to charge your battery directly on the camera while it is attached. Consider buying an external battery charger. You may also consider getting extra batteries. That's always a good idea. When you open the LCD panel or the display panel, you will find your power button. The Panasonic X2000 can record in 3 different formats: the MOV format, MP4 format, and the AVCHD format. The one thing I really like about this camera are the options that you have to connect to an external monitor or a TV or projection. You can do that using the professional BNC cable, using the SDI out, or the full HDMI out terminals. The camera also has a USB 2 port that allows you to connect your camera directly to a computer and transfer your files for editing without the need of card reader. The Panasonic HC-X2000 has streaming capabilities. The camera is able to connect to wireless LAN devices via a network. First of all, you can control your camera remotely via the app, but you're also able to stream audio and video over a network. At the front, you have your lens hood, and the lens hood also houses your lens cover. Behind the lens hood, you have 2 rings. The first ring is your focus ring, and that is the wider one that you use to focus when you are in manual mode. And the one behind it is your zoom ring, and that is what you use to zoom in and out. But you can also assign a different function to that ring, and that is for the iris. So you can assign the iris function to that zoom ring so that you can open and close the aperture using that ring instead of using it as a zoom. The next thing you'll see on the body is the ND filter. This is very useful when you are shooting in very bright sunlight. So there's built-in ND filters that allow you to cut out some of the light when you are shooting in very bright conditions to adjust your exposure. Next, you have your focus button, and this helps you to select between autofocus, manual focus, and infinity focus. The camera comes with 2 card slots, so you're able to fit 2 cards like most cameras these days. You can have the card slot in relay mode. Relay recording allows you to record on one card, and when that card is full, the camera automatically switches to the next card to complete your recording. But you can also set it to backup recording, where the camera records the same thing on both cards. So one of your cards will be your main card and the other one will be your backup card. You have your built-in speaker, and that outputs your audio when you're playing back. You also have your slot selection function, and that allows you to select what card is accessed when you want to record or when you want to play back. The other feature that is common with many cameras these days are your user functions, and these are pre-assigned to different things. You are able to customize these functions up to a certain degree in the menu system, so you can go in and change what comes assigned to the button by default to something else if you need that to be. Your thumbnail button allows you to switch between the camera image or whatever you're shooting and the thumbnail screen, which shows whatever you've already recorded so that you can play back. The display or mode check button allows you to display or hide information about the settings of your camera. We have many other functions on the outside of the camera that you can access certain features directly, and they are self-explanatory. So you have things like your white balance, you have your shutter, you have your gain, your iris, your menu button that allows you to go into the menu system. Now these buttons like the shutter, gain and iris work as toggle switches. So you switch between automatic shutter, gain or iris and manual shutter, gain or iris. So when you press the shutter, for example, once, you get access to auto. When you press it again, you now get access to the manual settings of the shutter, and the yellow highlights what you can now adjust. And then you use the multi-dial at the front to change the value of the shutter. And once you're done, to accept the value that you've set, you need to push that multi-dial in to accept the setting. This is only possible when the camera is in manual mode. When the camera is in auto mode, when you switch this switch to auto mode, the camera does everything for you and all the manual settings become unavailable. One thing you need to be careful with this camera is, as you operate it, like any other camera, it tends to heat up a little bit, and so it needs to find a way of dispersing that heat. So there's a fan inlet and an outlet that you can see on the side here. Make sure you're not blocking any of this while you are operating the camera. And there you are, that's the Panasonic HC-X2000. See you next time on Tech Booth.